This is TaskSpoon, the series where I aim to complete the collection log by doing one randomly generated task at a time. After completing the medium tier, I'm ready to attempt some of the longest and hardest challenges yet as I move on to the hard tier. Welcome to Season 3 of TaskSpoon. Hello everybody and welcome to episode 84 of the TaskSpoon series. In the last video, I got very lucky with everything I did, so I'm not going to spoil anything, but you should go and watch it. And in the end, we rolled a Cerberus task, which I have a lot to say about, so we're just going to jump right into it. Cerberus is the Hellhound boss that drops the Primordial, Pagation, and Eternal Crystals. That, along with the Smoldering Stone, are going to be the uniques that we're looking for here. And there are two requirements to kill Cerberus. One, you need 91 Slayer, and two, you need a Hellhound task. Both of those things could be a problem going forward, but strangely enough, even though you do need a task to kill Cerberus, because you can get a Hellhound task before getting 91 Slayer, you can actually boost to kill Cerberus with a Wild Pie. And so there is a chance that I could actually get a Hellhound task and get a Cerberus unique before getting 91 Slayer. Now, the problem with that is I'm really not looking to be doing Turiel skipping or point boosting just to get a Hellhound task. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is just starting to train Slayer, and if I happen to get a Hellhound task, I might try and go and kill some with some Wild Pies on the way to 91 Slayer. But in the end, I'm going to want 91 Slayer anyway, so I'm probably just going to train as much Slayer as I can on this task. So we are going to go get started, and I'll talk a little bit more about my plan in a bit. I'm currently sitting at 113k Slayer XP away from 88 Slayer, and we still have a Kraken task from the last time we had a task to get the Kraken uniques, so we are going to go and finish that one. And throughout this grind, I'm definitely going to be doing a lot of bossing, specifically the bosses that you need to be on task for. So I'm thinking Kraken, I'm thinking Abyssal Sire, and Grotesque Guardians. Those are sort of the three that come to mind. In fact, those might be the only three. But there are a lot of those tasks on the hard tier of the spreadsheet, and getting them done right now would be really nice, so I don't have to go and skip for tasks to go and do them. So I forget what I need for this, but I'm going to go get geared up and start back with the Kraken. Well, that's the Kraken task done. Nothing fun, no jar, no pet, no Kraken tentacle, but I did get a bunch of Brimstone keys, which is nice, and we can go and start trying to get a Hellhound task. I need to look at which Slayer Master is more likely to give me a Hellhound task, so I'm going to go do that real quick. So apparently Duradel has the highest chance to give a Hellhound task, so I will be getting my task from him. Unfortunately, I don't have the Karamja Gloves 4, or even Karamja Glove 3 for that matter, so I can't really teleport there easily. So what I'm probably going to be doing is just using my fancy new altar in my house and NPC contacting him, which is very convenient, and then just swapping back. So that's kind of cool. And wish me luck. Hope for a Hellhound task. Yeah, I'll take a Necreal's task. And then, would you look at that? I can go to the Ancient Spellbook so I can burst them. This is perfect. So I've had some time to think about how I want to structure this task, and I think what I'm going to do is actually split it up into a couple videos. Hopefully I get at least, well, for this video I'm going to be aiming for 2. But going forward, hopefully I get at least 1 Slayer level each video. Now, I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but like I said, I'm going to be doing as much bossing as I can, as well as trying to do every single clue that I get. I think I've learned from the past that if I don't start stacking up caskets, clue tasks are going to take a very long time. So I'm going to be doing every single hard and or elite clue that I get from all of my slaying and bossing. And like I said, hopefully I get at least 1 Slayer level per video. This one I'm going to be going for 2 because I'm already so close to the first one. And these are going to be the fastest 2, obviously being the first 2. So by the end of this video, I should have at least 89 Slayer. That is, if I don't actually get the Cerberus unique, because like I said, I do have a few Wild Pies. And if I get a Hellhound task, I am going to go and try and boost for it. But that's probably a long shot. Most likely going to actually have to end up getting 91 Slayer. So, yeah, that's my plan going forward here. Well, that was a pretty good task to start things off with. I had a couple superiors, I had a bunch of clues. My XP per hour was actually pretty bad because I had to go and do all those clues, but yeah, that was great. I was going to skip this spiritual creatures task, but I realized that I have a Cerberus task, so there is a chance that I get a primordial crystal from it, which then I would want to make the primordial boots. And I know there is an elite clue step where you need dragon boots. So I guess until I get a second pair of those, I'm going to be doing these spiritual creatures here. Hopefully I get at this task and I don't have to come back here. Oh, there's my extra pair of dragon boots. Nice. Not only did I get my extra pair of D boots, I'm also going to get the first of potentially 4 Slayer levels. 88 Slayer coming in. And we need 456,000 XP at the next level. This is going to be a while. Oh boy, Abyssal Demons. I get to go learn how to kill Abyssal Sire. Okay, so here we go. I have never actually done Abyssal Sire on this account or any other account for that matter, so this is going to be a learning experience for me. The boss doesn't seem too difficult, although it does seem kind of punishing. It says that you can get hit for up to 60 if you're not doing the right things, so hopefully I can learn that. There are a few unsired tasks on the hard tier. I believe there are 3 tasks to get a unique from an unsired. There isn't actually a task to get an unsired itself, because to do the other task, you need to have gotten one, so it's kind of baked into the first unsired task you get. But yeah, this will be fun. Hopefully I don't die too much. Usually with stuff like this in Old School RuneScape, I like to just jump right in and learn by doing, but I know Sire has a few mechanics that if you don't actually read about them, they're kind of counterintuitive and you wouldn't necessarily know about them. So what I did was I went through a couple of guides online, one on the wiki and a video, and I essentially just wrote down key things to remember for each part of the fight in a notepad. So my fight overview looks like this. Shadow Barrage Sire twice to stun the tentacles, go over and kill 2 respiratory systems, come back, Shadow Barrage Sire again to stun him again, kill the other 2 respiratory systems, that'll make him come down for phase 2. In phase 2, you swap to your melee gear, you turn on Prey Melee, and you hit him a bunch, you avoid the puddles, and you kill the spawns. Eventually, he'll move to the middle. I forget what health threshold it's at. It's probably like half health or something. He plants in the middle. You swap to Prey Range. This is when you start to ignore all the spawns. He'll do more puddles, so you move back and forth on these tiles. I just imported these tiles. I don't know what these 2 are for, but these 2 make a lot of sense to me. So you move back and forth hitting him, and if he teleports you, you step away and don't get hit by the explosion. And I think that's about it. I know that you can Blood Barrage the spawns in the last phase for health, so I don't know how necessary all the food I have is, but we're just going to give it a shot and see how it goes. Hopefully I can learn this pretty quickly. I know that a lot of people end up hating Sire because of how long it takes. A 234 Abyssal Demon task is going to take a very long time here, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. I've already learned 2 things about the Sire after 1 kill. For starters, it is very possible for me to not have enough DPS to kill both respiratory systems in the 1 stun, so I need to watch out for that because those tentacles really hurt. And for 2, make sure I don't have auto retaliate on, because I almost ran back into the explosion when in phase 4 when he teleports you and then you have to run away. So I need to make sure both of those things don't happen again. But I already got an elite clue on my first kill, so I'm going to go and do that. And we got the casket already. Nice. That was super easy. I'm going to go re-gear and get back to the Sire. Okay, I got achievement for that. I don't know what for, but oh, I got a bunch of achievements. Wait a minute. Don't stop moving, don't whip me, and perfect Sire. Okay. I was planning on looking into the combat achievements after I had kind of gotten more comfortable with the boss, but because we did a bunch there, that was for not being hit by tentacles, not being hit by miasma, and not being hit by anything that's avoidable. So that's pretty good. All the rest of them are a KC achievement. Don't let any scion mature. I don't really understand what that means. Another KC achievement. Kill the Abyssal Sire after only stunning him once. That's not going to happen anytime soon. And use the Vengeance spell to reflect the explosion to kill him. Also not going to happen anytime soon. So realistically, the only other achievement that I could possibly get that isn't a KC achievement is not letting the scions mature. I guess you just have to kill them quickly, but that's probably also not going to happen. So yeah, I guess we don't really have to worry about those. So far, I'm enjoying myself here. There has been a lot to learn, but it's been pretty fun so far. I do have a couple of things I wanted to mention. First things first, I'm very happy that I don't have to pay money to get my stuff back when I die, because that has already happened a few times here. And two, and this is something I would recommend to anyone who's first learning this boss, because I didn't read it anywhere, but I just thought it would be a good idea, and it makes things way easier. Bring a weapon that can auto-cast your blood barrages. In the second phase, or in the last phase, I don't know what they call it, but in the last phase, you have to move back and forth to avoid the miasma, like, a lot. It's like every 6 ticks or something, and trying to manually cast blood barrages while moving so you don't get hit by the miasma, turns out is pretty difficult. So I found it way easier to just switch to my Master Wand, and that way I can focus on moving to avoid the miasma so I don't take more damage, and then auto-casting my blood barrages to heal in the last phase. So I would really recommend doing that. Other than that, it's been pretty chill, and I'm just going to keep going. I did want to talk about this quickly. I did briefly mention it when I was talking about the tasks on the spreadsheet, but the way the Sire uniques work is kind of weird. Each Sire kill, you have a 1 in 100 chance to get an Unsired, which is an item that you have to go and sacrifice over in the pool over here, and then you get your Sire uniques from that sacrifice. I don't know why they decided to do it that way, but I'll put the rates on screen here. This is the rates after you get the Unsired and sacrifice it. The wiki has a little thing here that shows the chance per unique on any given Sire kill based on the rate of a 1 in 100 to get the Unsired, and then the rates of each item after you get that. So I will also put that on screen here. But yeah, essentially, I'm not really looking for anything from here necessarily. I mean, eventually getting a bludgeon would be nice. A two-handed crush weapon does have some applications around the game. The pet would obviously be cool, but realistically, I don't know if any of these are going to be particularly useful for me. Actually, the Abyssal Dagger might end up being a really good stab weapon, but either way, it doesn't really matter. We got to get the Unsired first, and so I'm just going to keep going. So, first things first, I would like to preface this clip by saying I know that I've been playing for like 6 hours today, and I've only killed 13 Abyssal Sires. But, oh yeah, 74 prayer, by the way. Yeah, so I've been pretty productive today, other than, you know, not actually killing the boss very much. I made a bunch of house tabs. I plan on swapping to the POH method, they call it, where you go back to your house with house tabs in between each Sire kill to refill your spec and your prayer, so you use less prayer potions, and you always have 2 specs, so you can lower Sire's defense. So I wanted to try that out, and as I was doing that, I realized that I needed to do herb run, a tree run, and a birdhouse run, and so as I was doing that, I needed to make more trees because I was running out of trees, and as I was doing that, I was running out of bank space, and I realized I had a bunch of ensouled heads that I could go and use, get a prayer level, maybe 2, and then I would have more prayer for the POH method, so I would be less likely to run out each kill. And I understand that train of thought went a little bit off the rails, but that's just sort of what happens when you play Old School RuneScape. You have one objective, and you get sidetracked by 8 other things. So I'm just going to finish off these ensouled heads, and hopefully then I will get back to Sire. I don't think I have anything else to do, but seeing how my day's gone so far, you never know what I'll come up with. Oh, 75 prayer, and I actually still have a few more ensouled heads and some bones. Might be able to get to 76. I realized as I was finishing up the last of my ensouled heads here that because these are reanimated Abyssal Demons, and I'm on an Abyssal Demon Slayer task, that I'm actually getting credit towards my task here, so I won't have to do as many Sire, which I think is a good thing because it's going to take me a very long time. And I do need these heads to get this last level, so it's kind of a win-win for me here. I'm kind of forced to do it if I want the prayer level, and it helps me out to not have to kill as many Sire in the long run. So, yeah, I just thought that was funny. Alright, that was the last of my ensouled heads. I am 8,200 XP away from a level, so I'm going to go and toss some bones on the Chaos Altar in the Wilderness, and then we will finally get back to Sire. Alright, one inventory of bones later, 76 prayer. We are finally done. All of my objectives have been completed. I have freed up a bunch of bank space. I got 76 prayer, so my prayer will last a little longer at Sire, and no longer is prayer close to my lowest level, so when I go and do Tears of Guthix, it will give me runecrafting experience, which was also sort of a side goal of mine that I didn't mention. I have re-geared for Sire. I'm going to go and try and figure out the differences in the method. It seems pretty simple. You do the first kill like normal, and then you go and you kill the 4 respiratory systems, and then you teleport out, go get your spec back, and then run back in. I don't know why you do it like that. I guess, I don't know. I'll figure it out, but yeah, we're ready to go. And speaking of Tears of Guthix, my weekly Tears of Guthix timer actually reset as I was recording that last clip, which was very funny. So here we go, 11,000 crafting XP. Nice. I've only done a couple kills with this new method, and I already like it so much more. Now, it's unfortunate that I don't have the next level of pool inside my house, so I don't get my health restored, so I still have to rely on blood barrages on all the little guys when they spawn, but it's still so much more relaxed, and I don't have to worry about prayer pots, and because of my kill times, I actually have enough energy to spec him once before I teleport, so I'm essentially getting 3 specs on Sire each time I try and kill him, which greatly increases the chance that I actually hit the specs, because with the Arclight you do need to hit, although I did learn a mechanic in RuneScape that I wasn't aware of, that you can actually hit him in terms of you passing the accuracy roll and still hit a 0. So like there, when I hit a 0, there was a chance that technically that did actually reduce his defense still. I don't know if there's any way to tell, because the 0 hit splat looks exactly the same. It's not like magic where you splash, but yeah, I did learn that new mechanic, which is cool. Oh, KC achievement. I was like, what is that? Why is it a 20 KC and not 25? Weird. I think at this point, you guys get the gist of what I'm doing, so the next clip you see will hopefully be something a lot cooler than just a regular drop. Oh, 84 attack, cool. 113 combat, cool. Well, I don't know if this is as exciting for you guys as it is for me, but maybe you can tell by the inventory and how much loot I have. I actually finished a trip without dying. And by finished the trip, I mean ran out of potions. So that's nice. Up until then, I would get like 2, 3, 4, 5 kills in and then mess up somehow. So not dying is good. This task has really opened my eyes as to how important these farm runs are going to be going forward. I've been pretty lazy recently trying to get other tasks done and not wanting to go out of my way to do them. But just seeing how quickly one task like this is eating through my supplies, I need to stay on top of the farm runs, keep the herbs stacked high so I can replenish the potions when I start to run low. And not to mention, if I can get 82 Herblore and build the final pool in my house, 82 to +5 boost to be able to make anti-venoms, which are the last thing I need to be able to upgrade my pool in my house to the max level, which would let me restore my hit points when I drank from it. Doing stuff like what I'm doing right now at Sire with the POH method would be infinitely easier. Right now I'm having to worry about healing up to full with blood barrages on the spawns and the scions at the end of each kill. If I didn't have to worry about that because I knew I'd just be at full health from going and drinking from my pool, it would make it so much faster. So that's sort of like a side goal. Now, I am 77 Herblore, so I would need to get to 82 for a +5 to 87 to be able to make the anti-venoms. So it's still a ways away, but if I can start chipping towards that goal right now, then I'm definitely going to do it, because in the long run, it'll definitely be worth it. So, as you can tell from the past few clips, I have been doing a lot of farming and Herblore, and don't mind me in the background here, I'm just telegrabbing some wines of Zamorak. I have a bunch of dwarf weed, and I need raining potions. And as I was doing this, I was talking in the clan chat, and someone reminded me that you can actually farm Zamorak grapes by going to the vinery, planting the grapes, going to Tithe Farm, buying the blessing that lets it so that when you harvest the grapes, they turn into Zamorak grapes, and then you can make your own wines. And I was also thinking about the new Tithe Farm overhaul. I haven't actually been back there yet, but I hear it's a lot better. And not to mention, you can buy herb boxes there. So I'm thinking I'm going to go and do some Tithe Farm. I'm going to buy some of the grape seeds and blessings or whatever I need to start farming some Zamorak grapes, as well as start stocking up some points to buy some herb boxes. And that way it'll help with both my farming and my Herblore grind. I don't know how good it's actually going to be. Like I said, I haven't been back there yet, but I'm going to go give it a shot, and we'll see what I can do there. I do think that it's very funny that this was supposed to be a Slayer episode, and I'm essentially doing anything but Slayer, but I just wanted to remind you that I am allowed to do farming in Herblore at any time. It's one of those skills that if I don't let myself do it, then it's going to fall super far behind, and then by the time I actually need it, it's going to take even longer. So yeah, I am allowed to do this, and I do actually need more potions still. Like I said, I was running out of raining potions for Sire, so this is related to my task. I'm not just going out of my way completely, although I am getting very sidetracked in this episode, and in fact, I'll probably end up needing to end the episode before I get that next Slayer level that I was trying to get. But yeah, just wanted to mention that. Oh, I missed the recording, but 87 farming. Cool. And in case you are wondering how I'm getting so many farming levels right now, I mean, I am doing herb runs with allotment patches pretty much on cooldown, but realistically, the majority of the experience came from, I just did all of my dragon fruit tree seeds, my magic seeds, and my yew seeds, so the experience is going to really slow down now, but yeah, that was a nice little boost there. If you guys want to leave me a comment and let me know what you think about these kinds of episodes where I end up getting a little bit more sidetracked and less to do with the actual task at hand. Personally, stuff like this I think is good for the progression of the account. Because none of this is strictly on the collection log, there is no task that requires me to go out of my way to do it, so I have to get it done eventually, and I think it adds a little bit more personality to the episodes. But, you know, maybe leave a comment, let me know what you think. Or perhaps leave a comment with a tile marker if you want one of those in-game, with a location, short message, or maybe a color, and I can put that down in-game for you. Or just leave me a comment and tell me how your day's going. I did just briefly want to mention, because this is the first time coming back to Tithe Farm since the changes, that I love them. I essentially said a very similar thing when I was doing Tithe Farm for the Farmer's outfit, that I was hoping they would make changes to this minigame because it felt super janky, and they pretty much did not exactly what I said, but something very similar, so I'm pretty happy with it. The main thing is you no longer have to worry about doing your sets in multiples of 100. So before, I would do 20 at a time, and I would do 5 rounds of it, therefore to get the 100 seeds planted. But now I can do this 24 method, which I find very chill. I'm never worried about having them die. And the alternative before was to do the 25 method, where you do the 3 rows that I'm doing along with this one side patch. But I always found that going out of my way to do that patch, if you mess up even a little bit, or are lagging, like my internet was at the time I was doing this before, then you're very likely to have your plants die, and that sucks. So, yeah, very happy with the new changes. Not to mention them adding herb boxes is great. I'm probably going to spend my extra points on those for the more Herblore experience, so yeah, awesome. So for anyone curious how this works, because I sure didn't know when I was first looking into it, if you go upstairs, Farmer Gricoler's daughter is up here, and she is somewhat of a disciple of Zamorak, And so if you are wearing a Zamorak item and talk to her, she will offer to let you in on the secret on how to make wines of Zamorak for a small fee of 75k, which I've already done. And that unlocks the Beloga's Blessings in the Tithe Farm reward shop. You get 20 for 1 point. And when you farm the grapes in the vinery and have one of these in your inventory, it turns them into a grape of Zamorak, and then you turn that into wines like you would normally, putting it in a jug of water and waiting it to ferment, and then you will get wines of Zamorak. So I'm going to try this out. I'm just going to buy a bunch of these. I don't know how many I'm going to need. I'm just going to buy all my points. And I think my grapes are ready, so I'm going to go and harvest those right now. So, as you can see, each time I harvest a grape, it turns into one of the Zamorak's grapes, and it consumes a blessing, and then each one of these will turn into a wine of Zamorak. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. And now, on to the next step of my massively convoluted and way too complicated plan to get some wines of Zamorak. I need to buy a bunch of jugs of water, not only for the Zamorak's grapes, but I also have 2,750 of these regular grapes that I would like to make. I am currently level 91 cooking, pretty close to 92, and I would like to get to 93 before actually starting to try and make these wines of Zamorak. There is a chance that you fail when fermenting the wine until you are level 98 cooking, and it scales pretty linearly with level, so the higher level I can get before actually making the wines of Zamorak, the more will succeed, which obviously is the goal here. So I'm going to try and get 2 cooking levels. Hopefully I have some raw food in the bank, as well as those grapes should be enough. And then at 93 cooking, we will make the wines of Zamorak. And I think 93 is I actually have it up here. 93 is a 93% chance. So shouldn't fail too many, but I will lose some, which is kind of unfortunate. But yeah, I gotta buy a bunch of jugs of water, probably close to like 3,500 to make all the wines. So that's what I'm going to do now. And this is yet another time that I'm very sad that I haven't had a task that required me to do Dream Mentor yet, because I haven't unlocked the Humidify spell, and it would be a lot faster to just go and buy empty jug packs and then just humidify them one inventory at a time. But I don't have that unlocked, so I got to do it this way. Yo, the bottomless compost bucket. Let's go, even on my farming grind. Heck yeah. I think that makes it official. This is no longer a Slayer episode, it is officially a farming episode. For anyone that doesn't know, the bottomless compost bucket lets you put all of your compost into one bucket, and therefore you save on inventory space, which is nice. But most importantly, when you put in a bucket of compost, it doubles the amount. So you can see it says I have 130. When I put one bucket in, it goes to 132. So essentially, I just doubled the amount of Ultra Compost I have, which is awesome. I just rewatched the clip and noticed that I had my chat on the clan setting, so you couldn't see the number, but that was kill number 20. The bottomless compost bucket is a 1 in 35, so I actually got really lucky on that. So that's great. I just remembered that in the Hosidius kitchen, there is a sink right adjacent to a bank chest, so I just bought a bunch of empty jug packs, and now I'm going to fill them this way. I think this is probably both faster and easier for me, and I don't have to hop worlds anymore, so I'm happy. Also, if you didn't know you can do this, you can harvest a patch and deposit them immediately into the compost bin at the same time. I don't know why or how this works, but yeah, you can do this. Well, I really wanted to get the big wine XP drop, but I already messed it up when I got disconnected, so here's a little one for you. Nice. Well, after scraping together pretty much every last bit of cooking XP I had banked, I am going to get 93 cooking, which is actually very relevant, and I will tell you why in a sec, but first we gotta go over to Puro Puro. So I mentioned before that you actually have a chance to fail at fermenting the wines of Zamorak, and your chance to succeed goes up linearly with your cooking level, and so at level 98 cooking, you actually have a 100% chance to succeed. And because I am 93, that means if I can get a +5 boost, that'll put me at 98, and theoretically then I won't fail any of my wines. Now, I actually was looking all over the internet to try and find out if boosts actually worked for wines the way I'm hoping they do, and I could not find a reliable source whether they do or don't, so I'm just going to do it. And so the way I plan on getting a +5 boost is with a Chef's Delight, which is a 1 in 100 chance from Gourmet Implings. So I'm going to be catching Gourmet Implings until I get a Chef's Delight. Then I'm going to go and make all of my wines of Zamorak at the same time. And right before they ferment, I'm going to drink the Chef's Delight and hopefully boost to a level where they can't fail. I have no idea if this is going to work, but I figured I might as well try it. Alright, this is the last inventory. Gonna drink my Chef's Delight, wait these 7 seconds and hope that it worked. If we see any bad wines, then we know that it didn't work and you can't boost for it. If we see no bad wines, then it's very likely that it did work or I got really lucky. Well, I don't see any bad wines, so I think it works. I just went back and checked, and the XP drop was 112,000 at 200 XP per wine. That means that it did work. All 560 turned into wines of Zamorak. So I'm going to safely assume that that does work in case that's ever relevant to anyone else. But either way, I got another herb run to do. And as you can see, I got 600 dwarf weed potions ready to go. I've got some corms, I've got some toad flax, I can crush some nests, got some snapdragons. I've got a lot of banked XP here, so I'm going to go do another herb run and then convert all this to Herblore XP and see how far we get. I'm hoping for at least 1 level, but man, I need a lot of experience. And another farming level coming in here. 88 farming. Anyone ever notice how this item called Heavy Box weighs 0.01 kilograms? Anyway, I was thinking to myself, how can I get more herbs passively, and realized that I actually hadn't done Throne of Miscellanea or Royal Trouble, and so late last night I decided to do Throne of Miscellanea, and now early this morning finishing up Royal Trouble, so hopefully this will help with the Herblore XP going forward. Just having passive herbs coming in is nice. I don't know if I exactly have the money to really fund this place, but I guess we'll find that out. So, 7.5 mil in the miscellanea coffer. That should last me a while. I'm maxing out herbs. I'm putting the rest on maples, mostly for the bird's nests for brews and god eggs, just in case I could ever get an evil chicken piece. And yeah, I guess we just let that sit, and hopefully that will help in the future. For now, we go back to farming. I'm so happy I got this bottomless compost bucket near the beginning of this farming grind. I pretty much just do the one giant compost bin at the farming guild every time I do an herb run and I go there. And before, including all of the allotments, which I'm no longer doing because they just take too long, but including all of the allotments, flower patches, herb patches, and tree runs, I was pretty much just barely breaking even on the ultra compost. If anything, I was losing a little bit each time. And now I've got 500 left in the bottomless compost bucket. It's just so nice and relieving to know that if I want to stop doing ultra compost, I'm going to keep doing it because why not? But eventually I can stop doing it and not really have to worry about it for a while. Because this video has turned into the farming and herblore video, I think I've decided that I'm going to end the video once I get 80 herblore, and then we'll see what I can do about getting 82, although those 2 levels are very daunting right now. But I have a bunch of toad flax banked for brews still, and I just found a bunch of sinister keys in my bank, so I cashed all those in for herbs as well. I think I am very close to 80 banked currently. I'm going to finish this herb run and then go and do some math, but yeah, I think 80 herblore this video, and then maybe try to get to 82 next video, although I don't really know how I'm going to do that. It is kind of funny that usually when I think of farming, I think of doing your herb run or your tree run or whatever real quick, and then going back to doing whatever you were doing before. But recently, in between my herb runs, I've just had more farming or herblore stuff to do, like the grapes, tithe farm, all that good stuff, or recently the sinister keys or collecting secondary ingredients, that it's like my life for the last like 3 days has just been like herb run and then collecting secondaries, herb run, more farming, herb run, tree run, fruit tree run, herb run. It's like My life has just become farming for the last 3 days, and it's honestly been kind of fun. Okay, after making, like, all the potions that I had secondaries for that I didn't need to boost for, I am 136,000 XP away from 80, and if you take a look at these Toadflax potions, this will give me 141k XP. So I have 80 Herblore banked. The unfortunate part is I need to boost to make these. I have 12 botanical pies right now. The boost will last for 3 minutes each. I don't know. I'm just gonna start, and hopefully I don't have to go and get more pies. Well, here we go. After 4 days of farming in Herblore, I have reached level 80 Herblore and 1975 total. Both very cool, and I'm very happy. But now I'm realizing I still need 2 more Herblore levels, which is like 450,000 experience, so... Now, I know this probably wasn't what you guys expected for this episode, and, well, it wasn't what I expected for this episode either, but I actually had a lot of fun, and I think getting this unlock is going to be huge for the account, and this gives me something to do while I may or may not be playing Diablo 4 and need to be waiting for my herbs to grow anyway. So, yeah, if you enjoyed the episode, maybe leave it a like, or leave a comment, or leave it a dislike if you think, what the heck was this guy doing farming for 4 days instead of attacking the Slayer monsters? Because that's understandable too. Either way, I hope you guys had as much fun as I did with this episode, and I will see you in the next one. And a big thank you to all of my channel members, but especially big shout out to Alchemist BTW, Jack Staumer, Zach Martin, and Luxitaire for the Tier 3 Big Spoon channel memberships. Really appreciate it, guys. Thank you.